I don't know who needs to hear this. I really don't. It's just I feel I need to say it because if I do, afterwards, I will have done it. So when thinking about the new atheism, I remembered something Christopher Hitchens, of all people, said a good while ago in Real Time with Bill Maher.
You know, when I think this is now the joke that stupid people laugh at.
And that was when stupid people would feel smart when laughing about George Bush. And Hitchens had something more to say.
It's a joke that any dumb person can laugh at because they think they're smarter, they can prove they're smarter than the president.
And when I remembered this, it occurred to me that that is really what the new atheism is. It's the joke that stupid people laugh at. Atheism is, of course, an intellectually defensible worldview. There were and are great atheist thinkers, great atheist philosophers, scientists, writers, etc. This doesn't even need to be pointed out, but sometimes it really dawns on me how ridiculous the whole new atheism really is. And I mean, really is. I think everyone except maybe the most stupid new atheists themselves realized that the original new atheists, Dawkins, Hitchens, Harris, and Dennett, didn't really know anything about theistic arguments. I mean, if you would have asked Christopher Hitchens during some Q&A if he could summarize Aquinas' third way and if he thought Aquinas did commit a quantifiership fallacy, what do you think he would have said? Nothing, right? He sure knew of Aquinas and his 5 ways maybe, but other than that, not much, just nothing. New atheism is and was of course a pop culture phenomenon based on juvenile amusement, a sentiment of teenage rebellion, and pseudo-intellectual pretense, but it's a sort of existential puberty that for some reason still keeps going. Sure, lots of people go through some kind of Richard Dawkins phase that they eventually grow out of. Except of course Richard Dawkins. He stays true to himself no matter what. I mean, a lot of people look back at their new atheist phase as a minor embarrassment that they are happy to have left behind. Imagine being a 30-year-old Richard Carrier fan, or even a 25-year-old. But sometimes when I think about the new atheism in general, I just find it hilarious how absurd it is. Imagine the following. Think about Bohmian mechanics, the interpretation of quantum mechanics. Imagine there are 4 people that got together. A political journalist, a biologist pop science writer, a pseudo-spiritualist with a neuroscience PhD, and a 70-year-old physicist that once specialized in hydrostatics. These people have one thing in common. They are absolutely convinced that there is no good reason to believe Bohmian mechanics is the right interpretation of quantum mechanics. And they get all angry at the defenders of pilot wave theories. Very angry. And so they make it one of their major occupations to fight against Bohmians. They even start a minor movement called the New A-Bohmians. They proclaim that they of course don't know what the right interpretation of quantum mechanics is, but they can't emphasize enough that we have no good reason to believe it's Bohmian mechanics. Another thing about them is that they don't really care all that much about quantum theory. In fact, they know very little, next to nothing about it, even a supposed physicist among them. They couldn't pass an introductory level class of quantum physics. They don't care about the arguments in favor of Bohmian mechanics. At least one of them believes Werner Heisenberg to be a math cook, and they all write books about Bohmian mechanics while appearing on TV proclaiming their opposition to Bohmian mechanics. They even start a movement, mainly on the internet, and it catches on. Suddenly, a hairy something calling itself the unbelievable A-Bohmist makes videos screaming at supposed Bohmians. A host of 17-year-olds appear on camera explaining to actual physicists why they are stupid and incompetent for taking pilot wave theories seriously. People who haven't read one paper on quantum mechanics debunking Bohmian mechanics, and even Richard Carrier is involved. Now, if something like that were to happen, one would think it's some kind of joke. But that is the new atheism. And it really was some kind of a successful movement until some guy offered coffee to a respectable lady in an elevator, and then all hell broke loose. But that's another story. The gist is that it's simply remarkable how a group of people can attack a worldview with such an amount of condescension while simply being unwilling to even learn anything, anything about the arguments in its favor. So theism is utterly destructive. It's so damn important that it has to be stopped. You're even willing to start a movement about it, organize conferences, give angry speeches, make angry videos, talk about it for ages. But you're not willing to open up a book and learn something about it? Yes, you are not really interested in the issue. You are interested in posturing as some kind of modern-day enlightened something while having a good time babbling about things you don't understand. And you even feel smart while doing it. But, surprise, surprise, you are surely not interested enough in the issue to open up a book and learn something that isn't, fun. And when the prominent new atheists failed to give the impression of people who knew what they were talking about on the debate stage, the new target for attack quickly became philosophy. They all made stupid remarks about philosophy, and a whole lot of new atheists take the same meta-philosophical position: philosophy is useless. The reason for their rather childish dismissal is, of course, that their own philosophical commitment, their rather childish scientism, is mostly incoherent nonsense, but of course the issue is much deeper than that. Growing up surely means understanding that easy answers to life's questions are hard to come by. But who could know that any better than somebody who has delved into philosophy? Philosophy recognizes that the world is complicated. Is there an easy answer to the bootstrapping problem in epistemology? Probably not. Philosophy is messy and complicated. Sometimes even the best answers are just unsatisfying. But the new atheists are of course not really interested in any answers. They just play their well-known shell games. In their echo chambers, they of course ridicule theism. There, they know it all. But when pressed about their worldview, they are humble agnostics all of a sudden. They're just open-minded. And yet the vitriol and sheer overconfidence routinely expressed by them speaks for itself. In the end, one might say, there's not too much wrong with being a new atheist at one point, but if someone is one for too long, you might just want to shake your head in embarrassment. One may want to look at a person like, for example, Peter Boghossian. Peter Boghossian proposed free thought indoctrination TV shows for children that teach something like atheism, involving, I quote, epistemic knights and the villains, faith monsters. Yeah, epistemic knights and faith monsters. If this is not a decent indicator for thinking that maybe there's something wrong with people who take new atheism a little bit too seriously, I don't know. So when I see a 50-year-old dude in a cowboy hat who is debunking Christianity or something like that, I don't know if I should pity them, feel embarrassed for them, or actually just laugh about them.